Did you know that exercise is the only thing proven to actually slow down the progression of Parkinson's disease? I think that it can be quite daunting to those with Parkinson's if exercise isn't really their thing. And suddenly they know that they've got to exercise because it can help massively. It can be quite a challenge. I mean, have you always exercised? How did you get into it? Did it change for you with Parkinson's?
I think it's safe to say that I am very good at being a lazy bum. Exercise does not come naturally to me. I've never been particularly sporty. I never was like, on the track team or whatever, but I've always done some, knowing that it's good for my health. So I used to go to the gym with my mother. I didn't go often, to be honest. But I did go to a weekly Kung Fu class.
Great.
And I still do the Kung Fu. My kids, I used to take my children, and that's how I got interested in it, because the instructor said, well, why don't you join? You're having to sit for 2 hours with the children. So I did.
That's really interesting, actually, because I think that shows people exercise doesn't have to be going to a gym and running on a treadmill or trying to run. It can be that it's so diverse. So how does Kung Fu particularly help you, and does it help your Parkinson?
Oh, absolutely. It helps my Parkinson's. So Kung Fu, our Kung Fu class is a family Kung Fu class, and it is brilliant because at the beginning we have about 40 minutes of cardio and intense workouts.
Wow.
It is really good because, I mean, they believe like the body needs to be strong to be able to do the Kung Fu. So they really put us through our, well, I think they do. They probably think they're going easy on us, but they do put us through our paces. And then after that, we then go on to the Kung Fu bit. So the initial bit is very good because we know that sustained exercise at a certain heart rate is very good for Parkinson's. So that's great.
I think that's key, actually, that people realize that you do need to raise your heart rate.
80% of maximum heart rate for about 20 to 30 minutes, 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Is what's considered to be beneficial. 30 minutes, let's say, to be safe. So yeah, I mean, that's brilliant. But then the second part of the Kung Fu class is equally beneficial because it uses my increases neuroplasticity in me, because I have to learn new techniques and I have to learn new routines.
So it keeps your brain,
and I'm learning new moves and how. I mean, one of them I have to do a front kick, then a side kick on one leg, and go from the front kick into the side kick without putting my foot down, and then I have to do it on the other leg. And it's really quite challenging. Balance is quite testing.
I was going to say, with Parkinson's, many of people out there will realize balance is very difficult.
Yes.
And that's going to improve your core and help you stand better and really help with your balance.
He likes us to plank for 2 minutes.
I
don't do it for 2 minutes. I'm not going to get past 30 seconds, but I try, and that is the point. So yeah, I think it's very good for both, like my core exercises, my heart rate exercises, but they also do yoga in it as well to wind down. Talking about exercise that's done outside of the box or outside of the gym, so to speak. I love Nordic walking because I live in the countryside.
Fantastic.
Nordic walking has been a game changer for me. During the summer, I'm a fair weather Nordic walker, let's be honest.
So Nordic walking, for those that don't understand, that is the walking with the poles. And that can be particularly beneficial for those with Parkinson's, with the balance issues, but you're really picking up a pace, but using the poles to help with your balance.
And there's a specific way of walking with it so that you engage all your muscles.
Wow.
And it's very good, not just for Parkinson's, but also Alzheimer's and dementia patients as well, because it increases neuroplasticity.
For people that are a bit daunted by it, particularly if they don't want to join anything publicly, please do look online, because there's lots of exercise classes specifically for those with Parkinson's. Things like table tennis as well. Yes. That's been known because you're thinking so much about, what you're doing.
Have you tried table tennis yourself, Vicky?
We've got a table tennis thing in the back garden.
Are you any good at it?
No. My children beat me all the time.
So, Vicky, do you have a go-to exercise, a favourite exercise you like to do?
I particularly love a strength class where I've got some music on and I'm doing some weight, and I love exercising with people, but I also love walking. And I think, Shafaq, it's probably important to mention, you mentioned a very, very important point, that the guidelines are to exercise 3 times a week, to get that heart rate up, you mentioned, and for 30 to 40 minutes. I think we'd probably both agree that any exercise is better than none. If you can just make it a habit and just do anything, like even if it's a tiny 5-minute.
Yeah, so I mean, what I would do is when I'm at work, I'm knackered by the end of the day. So doing exercise is really not 40 minutes at the end of the day is really knackering for me. So what I tend to do is in between patients, I'll book out 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and I'll just do sit to stands, 10 sit to stands, and I'll do a little bit of stretching. These aren't heart rate increasing exercises, but it's movement of any sort, and movement.
Absolutely.
And the other thing I'll do is I often work on my neck as well at work, and my physios taught me a few exercises which is good for me, like stretching my ligaments and things like that. So any exercise, a simple exercise, it's like just standing on your tiptoes and back again, or stretching out your arms, or swinging your arms 3 times back, which is what I do. Like big movements. That's what we lose in Parkinson's, is our big movements, and we don't realize until they're gone. So just keep using them every day. You've got 5 minutes in the kitchen, doesn't matter if someone's looking in the window, put your arms around your head 3 times and do it. Who cares? Someone sees you, let them have a laugh. But you make sure you keep your big movements going, even if it's in tiny segments through the day.
We produce a new video on Parkinson's every week, so to make sure you keep up to date, please click on the subscribe button.